Dear listeners, the content of podcast 10 Degrees 2 begins with the description of the tasks that an estimator habitually executes and continues with the analysis of the most demanded skills in each search for a successful estimator. An estimator in the construction and industrial assembly is responsible for compiling estimates of how much it will cost to provide a particular product or service to a customer or potential customer. The job consists of Item 1 analyzing in its entirety the information of the quotation sheet received from the potential client. Item 2 to make consultations to the client on any doubt in the received information. Item 3 evaluate the costs of the engineering if the project needs it. Item 4 identify and compute quantities of required materials. Item 5 establish the consumption of man-hours by direct labor. Item 6 define the necessary equipment to execute the project. Item 7 to value the materials of consumption. Item 8 weigh the indirect workforce. Item 9 analyze the budgets of possible subcontractors and suppliers. Item 10 estimate general expenses. Item 11 quantify financial cost. Item 12 determine tax cost. Item 13 include a contingency percentage. Item 14 add expected earnings. The estimator works from the information or folder sent to him by the potential client. This information must be analyzed in its entirety before making the site visit. Visit the site. Topics to keep in mind. Review all aspects that will influence the performance of the workforce and the resources to be used in the execution of the work. Some points to consider are: Point 1 access roads to future work. Point 2 infrastructure in the vicinity of the worksite. Point 3 degree of commitment of the work to be built with respect to a plant in operation, or on the contrary, if this will be built in an isolated place. Point 4 influence of the unions in the zone, in the performance of the personnel. Point 5 places available for the location of workers, and materials and equipment, and their distances to the site of work. Point 6 quality of preliminary engineering for quotation. Point 7 climatic characteristics of the site. Point 8 degree of difficulty daily to accede to plant and to obtain the permissions of work. Point 9 availability of possible subcontractors, experienced personnel or assistants in populations near the place of work. In short, it is the responsibility of the estimator to consider all the factors that affect the consumption of man-hours in a project. In order to do so, it is essential to read the folder or the documentation delivered by the potential client before going to the site visit. Estimators are responsible for calculating prices for a defined project of small or large works, and also for maintenance projects that will be completed over the years. The estimator should be concerned with obtaining the best price to win the contract in a competitive bidding situation, as long as he is confident that the contract can be executed profitably. The best price is not always the lowest, and clients award contracts by comparing the quality of the service offered and the experience of the bidder. This adds a new task to the estimator, that is to formulate the price. It must include a presentation of the quality of the service and the history of the company. I note that technology has not eliminated the need for an estimator's skills and experience. What is the optimal profile of an estimator? The general universities have solid programs in construction management, but they do not teach specifically about estimation process. Because of this, most estimators develop their skills on the job. Capabilities or skills required in an estimator. The estimator needs basic skills to be successful in what he or she does. Obviously, the skills will be perfected with experience, but minimally the budgeter must have the following natural skills to perform this task. 1 skill for mathematics. Estimating by nature requires a lot of work with numbers and the execution of complex calculations. 2 integrity and reliability. The work requires honesty and ethics, and it is also necessary that the estimator be reliable and responsible in the fulfillment of obligations. 3 experience in the field. The estimator or a member of his or her group should have experience of the materials, working methods, and tools involved in the construction of the works and assemblies that are being quoted. Having the necessary knowledge of construction works and industrial assemblies will enable budget groups to work accurately. This knowledge is only acquired by participating in the on-site construction of a construction site. It is also necessary that the budget planner, or someone in his or her group, is aware of the latest techniques and tools used in the field of construction. This experience gives the estimator a tangible understanding of how a project is organized, the time needed to execute it, the type and amount of labor required. It also provides you with solid information on the areas where performance can be optimized. 4. Interpretation of plans. The estimator who knows how to read plans and technical specifications considerably improve his chances of success. He must be able to visualize the work represented in the plans and define how it can be built in the field. 5. Capacity of synthesis. An estimator can, but should not, rely only on his instinct. Possessing the ability to visualize the complete structure of a project and how each of its parts is assembled helps to optimize the profitability of bids. A good budgeter uses a large percentage of his or her time to comprehend the project holistically before starting budget calculations. 6. Communication skills. A feature often overlooked in successful estimators is a verbal and written communication. Project success is often hidden in the details, and its discovery may require calls to suppliers, collaboration with other contractors, or extraction of critical information during a meeting. 7. Perseverance or persistence. Budgeters with this trait do not give up easily. Perseverance in an estimator is applied, for example, when looking for the best quote for material between different suppliers. The trait of persistence makes the estimator strive to meet all aspects of the offer on time. Most budget analysts spend much of their time in the office. But work is not always from 9 to 18 HS pressure, and the fixed nature of deadlines for submission of bids cause work times to stretch beyond 18 hours. Ultimately, the estimator needs to know how to plan his time wisely in order to meet the budget deadlines. A good budget planner combines the experience gained on the job site with his skills in quantity measurement, his business acumen, and with a mind capable of approaching the financial analysis of a project. With this, I finish the podcast 10 Degrees 2. Next week I will broadcast podcast 10 Degrees 3, which will analyze, among other topics, the important role played by the customer's purchasing department in choosing the most convenient contractor.